So, Mr. Donnelly, you only explore places in America.
That's right. I'm an American explorer.
Why won't you go to a foreign country?
Because I think that's carrying a joke too far.
Scenery of the old world is very beautiful, and the people are very quaint.
Yes, the scenery in America is just as pretty, and the people are just as funny. I prove it.
How?
Come with me, and we'll explore the island of Manhattan.
Okay.
This is a panoramic view of the extreme southern end of the island of Manhattan. It was settled by the Dutch in 1624, just 30 families. Now it has a population of almost 2 million natives. The Isle of Manhattan is 13.5 miles long and 2.5 miles wide. That statue marks the exact spot where Peter Minuet bought the entire island from the Indians for 60 guilders and 2 bottles of whiskey. Today, the natives would give the island back to the Indians for 2 bottles of the same kind of whiskey. The section known as the Battery. It is called the Battery because it is here the immigrants get their first shock. Their second shock comes when they see and hear the natives. Let's look at some of these natives.
No, did you get outside?
Manhattan Island's favorite native lived in this house. It was here he first said radio. You're right, it's Al Smith's house. This is not a cheese box, it's the aquarium. It was formerly Castle Garden, where the immigrants were originally kept. It is still filled with queer-looking fish. Look, there goes a school of little minnies. All day long, poor fish stream in here to see the other suckers. Let me show you where they really hook the sucker. Here it is, folks, Wall Street. The fishing isn't so good right now. The natives ran out of bait. You can see for yourself how crooked this street is. The building to your right is the office of J.P. Morgan. He would be on the right side of the street. Morgan's no fool. Here's one man on Wall Street whose business is open and above board. Across the street from Mr. Morgan, where he can keep one eye on it, is the United States Treasury Building. You're not allowed to walk out of here with any of their samples. The statue of George Washington marks the spot where Washington was inducted into office as the first president of the United States. Morgan's private offices. Just around the corner, where Mr. Morgan can keep his other eye busy, is the world-famous stock exchange. This is a very powerful building. No wonder it's full of steel. Some time ago, members paid as high as $600,000 for seats on this exchange. Now they're looking for seats in the park. Most of them have lost their seats, and all of them have lost their standing. Safe Deposit Company, you tell one. The place where Washington said goodbye to his officers before taking his seat as president. It's Fraunces Tavern, built in 1700. The tavern is still a popular resort, with its antique furniture and its servants, costumes as they were in the Revolutionary days. When in Manhattan, you should visit the Holland Tunnel. This marvelous bit of engineering cost $50 million. The tunnel runs under the Hudson River and is 1.25 miles long. 30,000 cars drive through every 24 hours. The toll is 50 cents a car. Here is the birthplace and home of Manhattan's most famous native, Theodore Roosevelt. Even to this day, the air inside this historic house seems to be charged with the dynamic personality of the beloved Teddy. The much talked of Tammany Hall. It was founded in 1786 by St. Tammany, an Indian chief, whose slogan was, "Peace at any cost." The Irish who now control Tammany still believe in peace at any cost, even if they have to fight to get it. The hall, or wigwam's chief business, is scalping Republicans. While the Republicans do not trust Tammany, the manufacturers do, as you can see. Tammany Hall is the political headquarters of the island. This is City Hall, the hindquarters. You remember it was Nathan Hale who said just before he was hanged, "I regret I have only one life to give for my country." Well, this slaughterhouse is built on the site where that great American hero was executed. Such is fate and fame. Fifth Avenue. Here we see the finest stores and shops in the world, as well as the loveliest women. It's here milady buys her furs, mink, monk, dunk, and skunk. On Fifth Avenue, you'll see everything, from the tallest structure on earth to this funny-looking fellow on the horse. He's an up-to-date Paul Revere. He dashes through the streets on a brewery horse shouting, "Beer is here, jawohl." What the well-dressed horseman should not wear. The natives brag this island is the greatest city in the world, but you can see for yourself it's just a one-horse town. The public library. It is one of the finest buildings of its kind in the world. The natives of Manhattan spent millions of dollars on this building, filling it with rare editions. But the rarest edition you'll find in the library is a Manhattan native. It's a common sight to see a man walk down those steps, happy with the knowledge he has gained, only to get hit with a taxi because he was too dumb to know the traffic laws. I don't know what those two lions represent. Maybe they're bookends. Should you find a book that is too complicated or involved, you can stand here and read between the lines. Now at last, we arrive on the Great White Way, the street that is paved with tears and laughter, Broadway. For every light, there is a broken bulb. In any of these nightclubs, the hat girl takes your hat, but the club takes your shirt. Here's where you'll find your favorite actor or radio crooner. They claim prosperity is just around the crooner. There are more picture palaces and theaters here than any other street on earth. What a street. Even the firemen are going to blazes, or maybe they're just calling on an old flame. You are now looking up Park Avenue, where the rich and richy natives live. On this street will be found the finest apartment houses on the island. They build houses very quickly here. On Monday, they lay the foundation, and the following Monday, they're putting out the tenants for not paying their back rent. You have just seen Manhattan's richest street. Well, now you're looking at its poorest. This is the famous Bowery, the street of breadlines, cheap hotels, and flop houses. Here is a striking example. Souvenirs for all. This fellow's leaving with some of the souvenirs. He says some of the biggest bugs in town live here. Here is a real point of interest, a place you must see while in Manhattan, Grant's tomb. Everybody who ever visited this island has seen this tomb. Everybody but Grant. That plain, old-fashioned house between the two modern buildings was the home of Alexander Hamilton, America's greatest treasure, BM, before Mellon. Harlem, the colored section, and we're lucky to get all the Amos and Andys and Madam Queens and Ruby Taylor strutting their stuff. My, but the Gold Dust twins have grown. From the size of this fella's hat, he must be the head man. Ain't that something? Now, who's this? Whoop! Well, shut my mouth. If it ain't Ed Montgomery Gwendell, the deficiency expert. This is the Harlem River, northern end of the island of Manhattan, and the end of this exploration.